Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy you tuned in today, and welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. No replay this week. It's really me. And as you guys know, my name is Dr. Linzi. I'm a naturopathic doctor right here in Iron River. I specialize in helping people restore their health and revitalize their life. And always the disclaimer, you guys, anything we talk about is for the purpose of general health support, not intended to treat or cure disease or anything like that, just to support overall physiology. Always consult with your own primary care provider before making any health changes, right? So it's been a hot minute. I believe it's been about 3 weeks. And so thank you to all the lovely gentlemen here for holding down the fort like they do so well and doing my replays. And I'm back today though. And so I want to talk about something actually a little bit personal that I've been walking through the last couple of weeks because I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today and all the different health topics we can talk about. And it just felt a little, I don't know, I've been going through it. I've been going through some stress. So I figured why not share it with you guys and be authentic instead of trying to, I don't know. I just am who I am and I like to share things with you guys so you know what's going on. So many of you know that my husband Jake has been dealing with some health things, procedures, hospital visits, travel, uncertainty, a lot of disruption. And while I knew it was stressful, of course that would be stressful to anybody, I didn't really fully realize how much stress I was carrying until my nervous system finally said enough. And I quite literally crashed. And so it wasn't actually fight or flight. It was more of something called freeze, where it's still a stress response, but your body literally shuts down. You get shut down, exhaustion, brain fog, no motivation, no focus. My blood pressure dropped, my energy tanked. And some days, all I could do was just lay down and sleep. But now here's the interesting thing. The physical symptoms weren't actually the hardest part of going through this stressful time, which is still going on. So you guys are getting it in real time. The hardest part was actually the thoughts that came with it. Maybe some of you can relate. The shame, the guilt, the self-criticism, the voices I kept hearing over and over. You should be stronger than this. You should know better. You teach this stuff to your patients and your clients. You should be able to push through this. And I really feel like I'm not alone in this. I mean, I hear versions of thoughts like this in patients and clients every week. People who are struggling with fatigue, with anxiety, digestive symptoms, chronic illness, struggling to lose weight. And underneath all of that is often a similar message of along the lines of I should be doing better, right? But here's what I have learned over the years of practice and what this recent experience, very stressful experience, reminded me of once again, is that the symptom is almost never the problem, you guys, right? The symptom is almost always the messenger. So we live in a world that is really quite obsessed with fixing symptoms. Fix the anxiety, fix the fatigue, fix the brain fog, fix the insomnia, fix the weight gain, fix the digestive system, fix the nervous system, which even was something I was getting obsessed about. Like, oh my gosh, I have to fix my nervous system. My nervous system can't handle the stress. What am I doing wrong? Let me fix this. And while I absolutely believe in supporting the body physiologically, I mean, that's a huge part of what I do, right? Obviously, I've also learned that the symptoms are often carrying a message. And guess where most of those symptoms lead back to? The lovely nervous system. But guess what the nervous system often leads to? Something even deeper. The stories and beliefs that we've been carrying for years. Sometimes decades, sometimes since childhood. Now stick with me for a minute. I know some people are like, oh, here we go with my childhood ruined me. I'm not saying we need to blame our parents or blame our childhood. Like, there's just things that develop. And sometimes, our parents do the best they can. This isn't about blaming anybody. This is just about understanding where some of these things can come from, right? And so recently I went through a therapy called the Vist Dialogue. I use this in my past healing and it is amazing. It's a process therapy that asks questions and keeps peeling back layers until you uncover the belief that's underneath the belief. And then you eventually get to the core belief that is often part of your subconscious and can be causing a lot of havoc in your body. So for example, I started talking about in this Vist Dialogue therapy, I started talking about my nervous system being shut down. But as the conversation unfolded, something deeper emerged. The real issue wasn't the exhaustion. The real issue wasn't even the stress, you guys. The real issue ended up being a subconscious belief that I didn't realize was still running the show over here in Dr. Linzi land. And the belief was, if I can't keep functioning, if I'm not productive, I'm not good enough. Woo! That was quite a whopper. And then as we dug even deeper into the subconscious, it became even clearer that the rule underneath that was, to be a good person, I have to work hard, be successful, and give my best. Now, that sounds actually kind of great. At first glance, I feel like that sounds like a pretty darn good rule. Work hard, do your best, be successful. I mean, what could be wrong with that? The problem is, you guys, that rule never says, hey, you've done enough. Hey, you can rest now. Hey, you're actually okay. The finish line keeps moving. Do you see where this can become a problem with stress and nervous system and chronic issues with your nervous system shutting down? No matter how much I achieve, no matter how much I accomplish, no matter how much I give, it's never enough. And I suddenly realized something in that realization, which is what the purpose of that V's dialogue therapy is for you to have that sudden aha moment. I realized something, that I've spent much of my life running a race with no finish line. Maybe some of you can relate to this. Maybe you've tied your worth to your productivity. Maybe you've tied your worth to how much you help other people, or how your worth is tied to your career or your appearance or your accomplishments, your ability to keep everything together and get everything done. And then when life hits hard and you can't keep performing at that normal level, guess what steps in? Those thoughts, that shame, not because you're failing, but because you have this false belief that is being exposed. And one of the most profound realizations I had through this process is, you cannot go about trying to heal or, quote, fix a nervous system while simultaneously attacking yourself for needing the exact healing you're trying to create in your body. Think about that for a minute, you guys. How many people are trying to heal themselves while carrying beliefs like rest is lazy, slowing down is failure, I should be stronger, I should be able to push through, I don't deserve rest until everything is done? That's a real common one. And no wonder healing often feels impossible in your body. You're trying to recover while also fighting yourself. And here's another important lesson, you guys. Just because a trigger, like this very stressful last couple weeks, brings up an old response or an old pattern, doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you've lost all your progress, or it doesn't mean you're back to where you started. One of the greatest gifts during this difficult time came from a friend and colleague who reminded me that it had been over 2 years since I had reached out to her for needing this level of support. That's not failure, that's growth, that's healing, and that's evidence that the work is actually working, right? So I want you guys to understand that healing is never about never being triggered again or never struggling again. Healing is recognizing it sooner, recovering faster, reaching for your tools sooner, asking for help sooner, giving yourself more grace, and continuing on forward. So what did I do with all this stress, right, that I was experiencing and, wanting to, quote, fix my nervous system? Well, first I went back to the basics. I reached for my faith. I prayed, I leaned into scripture, I reached out to trusted colleagues and healthcare providers in my corner so I could do things like the V's dialogue, and I could get the acupuncture I needed. I even tried a new tool called, doing sound healing, which we can talk about another day. I focused also on those conditions for health that I talk about and tell you guys about all the time: my hydration, my nutrient-dense food, my protein, my sleep, morning sunlight, gentle movement, breath work, time outside, reducing stimulation. The foundational habits that I teach every day, not because they're flashy, but because they work. And then I utilized the tools in my tool belt, like the V's dialogue, when I still wasn't quite moving forward. I'm like, I still feel stuck. Well, I'm trying to do all these things to support my healing, but I'm literally telling myself, because of that false belief that I uncovered, that I'm no good if I'm resting. So this whole time I'm trying to rest, I'm telling myself that I'm no good, and then it's just preventing the healing from taking place. So I want you guys to understand how important that is. And honestly, this is one of the reasons I believe the total health restoration system that I created and you guys hear me talk about is so powerful, because I don't just teach this stuff, right? I live it. I go through it too. When life throws challenges my way, I don't suddenly become immune to them because I'm a naturopathic doctor. A lot of times people think I must have it all figured out. Well, I'm trying, but I'm also human too. I still have a nervous system. I still experience stress, and I still have old patterns that can get activated during difficult seasons. The difference is that I've developed tools, awareness, and a support system that helps me recognize what's happening and find my way back, right? And when I walk through these experiences myself, my clients get the real Dr. Linzi. I don't pretend I have it all figured out. I don't hide my struggles. I share it with them, not for them to take on my burden, but so we can learn from each other, because I think there's tremendous power in seeing what it actually looks like to work through life's challenges in real time, not perfectly, not flawlessly, but honestly. And I feel my clients don't just learn from my successes, they learn from how I navigate hard seasons too. They get to see what it looks like to fall back on those foundational habits that I talk about and teach, to lean into faith, to ask for support, to uncover deeper beliefs and continue moving forward. That's why I feel so many people experience true transformation when they work with me, because this isn't fluff. This isn't theory. This isn't me teaching something I learned in a textbook per se, or some weekend warrior certification that I've never lived. This is real life, you guys, real challenges, real setbacks, and real growth and real healing. And I truly believe one of the greatest gifts we can give each other is our authenticity, not perfection, but authenticity. Because when we stop pretending we have it all together, we can give each other permission to be human too. So today I want to leave you with this question. What story might be underneath your symptoms or symptom? Not just your diagnosis you were given, not just what your lab work shows, not just your symptom that keeps nagging you, but the story, the belief, the message that is under that. Because sometimes the symptom is not asking to be fixed. It's asking to be understood. And that is what I noticed these last 3 weeks. I needed to go deeper to understand what was preventing me and my nervous system from coming back online and getting through this. And so I want you to know, if you're walking through a difficult season right now, please hear this. Needing support is not weakness, you guys. Starting again is not failure. And asking for help does not erase your progress. Sometimes it's actually proof of it, right? And one final reminder that I'm having on my conscious mind right now and working through is that I do not need to earn rest. I do not need to earn goodness. And neither do you guys. Does that make sense, Jim?
Dr. Linzi, it almost sounds like we purposely try to throw ourselves into a paradox.
Yeah, we're like our own worst enemy.
Exactly.
It's wild.
And like you said, you got to give your. I think a lot of us. I'll throw myself in there. I think a lot of us. It's hard for us to give ourselves either A, permission,
Yes.
or B, forgiveness.
Yes.
That perception, you talk about it maybe being the parents' fault. You gotta go back. It could be your teacher's fault. It could be your
the one person that said the one thing that triggered this whole response. And
some restaurant that you never met to before in some city that you were just visiting on a
right.
whim. Yeah,
so it could be anything.
So it's all inside of us. Dr. Linzi, tell people how they can find you, about the Total Health Restoration Program,
Yes.
and of course your social media.
Yes. So you guys, if you find me on Facebook, it's Linzi Say Larson. So that's Linzi, and then Say, S as in Sam, AIGH, Larson, LARSEN. Some people I noticed were going to my professional page on Facebook, which does exist, and you're welcome to go there, but I don't ever check the messages there. So don't try to reach out to me there. Please go to my Facebook, Linzi Say Larson.
If you follow us on the X Files, if you go to x.com/WIKBTT, I put a link right into Dr. Linzi.